Hey, thanks for joining us for another Connection Wednesday. Um, we had some technical difficulties last night, but wanted to get back in front of you today to deal with the whole Proverbs 4:23. Proverbs 4:23. Today's lesson is going to be about protection, guarding, and what it means to guard. One of the things that I think we sometimes have a difficult time doing is we always learn how to protect those things that are most valuable to us. When you think about home ownership, when you purchase a home, one of the things you have to do is you have to buy homeowners insurance. When you go to purchase a car, before you can drive off the lot, you have to be sure that you have car insurance. When we work on jobs, despite the fact that we may not have the best health insurance, some would debate that. Part of work here in the United States is that you get health benefits or some semblance of it, which protects you, against getting sick and being sick and what that looks like and all of that. So we all get protection for different things. One of the things that sometimes we have a difficult time accepting or understanding is the simple fact that we also need protection for our heart. So in Proverbs 4:23 it states, "Keep your heart with all vigilance, for from it flow the springs of life." It's very key today that we take the time to guard our hearts, that we protect our hearts. The heart is where everything about us flows from. When you talk about when you talk about our heart, you're talking about that space, that area in our body that pumps blood, that allows for circulation to take place, that is the key to who we are and what we're all about. What is in your heart has to be protected. I like the word vigilance in this text because vigilance is means that you will. The base of that is vigil, which means that you are constantly on watch. You're constantly on guard. There is something that is going on that's active. That there is the ability for a constant state of watch. Back in the old school church, they would have watch night service, and watch night service would typically take place on New Year's Eve, and you would be in church all night, and or they'd have watch night service to where they would hunker down and be in the church and pray and sing for a time period, and they would just be there. They would be locked in, and that's what they would do. That is the same kind of vigilance that we have to have for our heart. We cannot allow for our hearts to be infected by the disease of negativity, by the disease of bitterness, by the disease of anger, by the disease of short-sightedness or self-esteem. So we have to be in a position to where we truly guard our heart with all that we have, because what comes from that is the springs of life. What I'm trying to get us to understand here today is that some of us have a heart issue. My dad has congestive heart failure, so therefore he cannot do certain things. He has a shortness of breath. Um, Sometimes his activity or making certain movements or whatnot will cause him to be get tired easily because of his valves in his heart are not working properly. Because over the years, because of environment, because of maybe eating habits, his heart has become weak, especially from the his valves. So when you think about that, some of us have weak hearts because we've allowed for societal issues and relationship issues and friend issues to to cause us to become weak at heart. The second half of this text says, "From it flows the springs of life." Life is given through the heart. But if your heart is infected with meanness, what do you think is going to flow from that? Meanness. If anger is in your heart, what do you think is going to spring forth from that? Anger. If disappointment is in your heart, what do you think is going to spring forth from that? Disappointment. To those who are around you. That's why it's very, very important that we protect our heart. It's very important that you keep your heart. You have to, church, whatever the case might be, you've got to keep your heart in a good rhythm. The same way that going to the gym and working out provides circulation and cardio. The cardio workout helps your heart to pump blood in a good state, and it allows for your body to go through the adjustment of losing weight and getting in better shape. The reason that we do cardio is to strengthen the heart. The reason that you go to church is to strengthen your heart. The reason that you read the word, the scriptures, is to strengthen your heart. Those are the things that fall under that vigilance, which means that no, as a pastor, um, um, I'm not the one who should be guarding your heart, but I'm the one who should help you understand how to guard your heart. I'm just a messenger of Christ. At the end of the day, that's your heart. You have to be protective of that. You have to look out for that. The same way that I look out for my children, I'm responsible for them. As many others love them and adore them and consider them to be ones that they look upon and will look out for. At the end of the day, it's my responsibility to look out for them. I have to be vigilant about what and who and where they are, as far as being there to protect them. That's my responsibility. So I say that to say it's your responsibility to guard your heart. I'm here to help, but it's ultimately your responsibility to read the word. It's your responsibility to get into a deeper relationship with Christ. It's your responsibility to sit under good leadership and to find a good local church. That's your responsibility, because at the end of the day, that's your heart. When we get to heaven, we have to have an account of what we did, and ultimately God is going to ask you, where is your heart? What did you do with your heart? Did you allow for it to become infected and diseased, or did you guard it? So, as a takeaway, be sure that you are guarding your heart. Be sure that you are doing those things to strengthen that muscle, that core, because what flows from that is supposed to be the spring of life. So let's work on our heart issues. Let's get our valves strengthened. Let's do those things that we're supposed to do. Connection Wednesday. See you next week. I'm Pastor C.